How to manage mulch. Mulch management means keeping an eye on your mulch and keeping an even layer of mulch on the soil. Sometimes we must pull out a rake and get our exercise by moving materials from areas with excess mulch into places with inadequate covering. Occasionally, we need to add more mulch when the layer gets below 1 inch thick. Mulch can sometimes pile up in spots or be displaced, leaving bare, uncovered areas. Wind blowing leaves can create a pile in one area and remove the mulch from another place. Foot traffic and certain pathways can displace mulch and leave bare spots. Mulch eventually disintegrates into the topsoil and needs to be replaced. Using these methods allows us to simulate a natural forest floor quickly. You may mulch up to 3 inches thick under the branches of established trees, remembering to keep the mulch away from the tree trunk and the root crown. You can plant vegetable crops in mulch up to 1 inch thick, or even better, use a finely textured composted mulch. So what tools will I need for moving mulch? The first one, and you can check in the description below for pictures. The first one is a wheelbarrow. There are different types of wheelbarrows, the old standard ones with one wheel in front and you lift the back handles to move forward. There's also the newer dumping wheelbarrow, which is kind of like a dumping wagon with all four wheels. They both work well. So a wheelbarrow is essential when you receive deliveries of wood chips for carrying loads of mulch to where you need them. And you can see in the description box below, sometimes you're going to get big, huge piles of mulch. And what we like to do is make moving mulch fun. I like to get new wood chips because they smell good and I feel rich in wood chips. I playfully imagine and make the job go quickly and easily, making it fun. For example, I make a wheelbarrow-sized slip in the mulch pile that fits the nose of the wheelbarrow like a boat slip at the harbor. With the wheelbarrow in the slip, I use a rake to pull the wood chips toward me into the wheelbarrow. Like I'm behind the wheelbarrow and I'm raking them in to the wheelbarrow. You can play this easy game for as long as the pile is taller than the wheelbarrow. Alternatively, make a straight edge to the wood pile where you can park the wheelbarrow very close to the chip pile and use the rake to drag the chips into the wheelbarrow. It's faster if you have two people, of course. So one person is delivering the mulch in piles where it's needed, and the other one is raking it out to cover the soil in sheets of mulch. Of course, if you had more than two, that would even be better. Now, the 5-gallon bucket is another handy tool for moving mulch. Use the bucket by leaning it up against the wood chip pile and dragging the material into the bucket with gloved hands, or you could use a small, like those 3-fingered sort of tools, those hand tools, or even a little hand trowel, and you could just push the mulch into the bucket. So you're sort of holding the bucket up against the wood chips and dragging the wood chips into the material. And this method moves the material faster than using the shovel. So depending on your body type, you may prefer to shovel the material into the wheelbarrow. For example, my hubby has strong shoulders and arms, so he likes the shovel. And a nice shovel to use is a lightweight shovel that has a square end and helps move mulch. But since I don't have very strong shoulders, I like to use the 5-gallon bucket method, where I fill up the 5-gallon bucket and then I dump that into the wheelbarrow, and then I fill it up again, dump it into the wheelbarrow. And after about 4 or 5 buckets of mulch, the wheelbarrow is heaping. And that method goes quickly and easily for me. So yeah, you can use any kind of shovel, but the kind of shovel that they use for snow is also nice for lifting heaping piles of wood chips quickly. We don't have that kind of shovel actually, but so we use a round or square nose shovel. And moving mulch is good exercise and fun if you listen to music or whistle while working. Then you can see in the description below some pictures of piles of mulch where we have dropped off a wheelbarrow full of mulch. And we just keep doing, we do the job that way where we bring out the wheelbarrows full of mulch and drop them all around. And then later on, after we're tired of doing that job, we'll come out with a rake and rake them out into a layer of mulch after that. And you can see how these are pictures from when we first laid down our first big layer of mulch. And you have different colors of mulch depending on what type of material you received from the chip drop. And here's a picture of hubby walking along the whole backyard with everything all evenly raked out into a layer of sheet mulch. That was a great success. So our mulched food forest floor is alive. Billions and billions of microscopic soil biota form a sustainable living community, spending their days and nights helping grow healthy plants, ultimately feeding healthy animals and healthy humans. When plants lose their leaves or branches die for any reason, the soil is there to receive the spent plant parts, and the community of soil biota recycles the material into food for the living plants. Our compacted clay soil expands with water during rains, and then it dries out in hot weather and it cracks open with deep cracks. Since we covered our land with organic material, an interaction between the soil and the covering of organic material began changing the tough clay into easy to crumble dirt clods that smell earthy. So our alkaline clay soil naturally lacks organic matter, but as we add organic mulch, which is acidic in pH, the two worlds begin to unite and create a top layer where the pH transforms closer to neutral. As your soil approaches a neutral pH, more beneficial life forms can thrive in the friendly pH. So they fertilize and aerate the land in a process called bioturbation. And that is the end of this section, how to manage mulch.